Well, hi everybody. Welcome back. This is David and Felicia from Life with Parkinson's. Hi. If you're new here, I hope you'll consider subscribing. For everybody else, thank you for coming back and watching this final episode.
Mm-hmm.
Today, obviously these were all filmed on the same day, but for me this has been better than I'd hoped for.
Mm-hmm.
Like the stuff we've talked about, like a lot of Felicia's memories and stuff from the first video. Like we had never talked about those things, and for me they were just so heart-tugging and heartwarming. And I'll just put a little card up here on the screen, so if you want to check the first video out, you can go back and do that, and I'll also post it at the end of this video so that you don't miss it.
Mm-hmm.
And now we're going to talk about basically from Parkinson's diagnosis forward, and then speculation about what Felicia sees in the future for herself.
Yeah.
So, how have you felt things have gone basically from after diagnosis, getting over the shock, and then living a day-to-day world? How have you seen things? Because I was diagnosed back in May of 2017. That was 6 years ago now.
Yeah.
How have you seen things develop through the last 6 years through your eyes?
Honestly, things have gone better than I've expected.
Oh, okay, good.
Not gonna lie, it's gone way better than I expected. I think one of the things that helped it go better than expected was getting into counseling, to be honest. I'm in counseling. I have been for 3 years now. Because I had never talked to a counselor at all about Parkinson's or even my own diagnosis or anything. And I found that just kind of helped put things into perspective of Parkinson's, as I said before in the other videos, Parkinson's is not fun. No one wakes up and is you know what I want today? I want a chronic illness. No one does that. So I don't know how to describe counseling. It's just great. Everyone should be in counseling.
Yeah.
We all have problems that we need to discuss. But something that Pam, our counselor, we all have the same counselor, which is funny. Pam's amazing. She kind of put it into perspective of these times are a really good gift time for you. Everything for Pam is a gift. Everything can be used as a gift, which I thought was really a cool way to put it, because I think I said before in the first video, you having a chronic illness really helped our relationship get closer together.
It did. It helped a lot.
Because I was my mom has endometriosis, so it was kind of just her and I having a chronic illness. And I think it was really hard for you and Zach to kind of see life through a chronic illness lens of
It was. I definitely did not understand it.
You can live a quote unquote normal life with a chronic illness, but you just do everything 3 steps slower. It's I can do that thing. I just need to make a whole entire plan first of 5 other little steps to get me to that one thing.
Yeah.
So I found when Pam kind of put it in that perspective for me, I found that was oh, yeah, so ever since then, things have gone a lot better than expected. For me, at least. And I don't live with you guys. I live on my own in a different town. So it's I'm finding the times where, the heart murmur, for instance. You got the heart murmur.
Man.
It was kind of great, another thing. Hey, what do we have to do for that? And it's but it's just kind of yeah, okay, that sucks, but it's not the end of the world. Nothing feels like it's the end of the world anymore, which is really nice, because when you got Parkinson's, I was oh, this is the end of the world. This is it. Dad's gonna die in 3 years. You haven't, which is great.
Yeah, I'm so
thank God for that.
I'm happy about that too, actually.
Yeah, but it's I think because you didn't progress as quickly as I initially thought you were going to, it's been a lot better with that. You've been able to work out more, your eating habits have changed. Everything's just gotten better with that. And I'm kind of glad the progression's a little bit slower and not as quickly, because I've met some people that have their granddad or whatever has had Parkinson's, and they progress so fast, because every person's Parkinson's is different. Every person's chronic illness in general is different. So the fact that it's just gone better than I expected has been really good. And something Pam has always told me, just allow yourself to feel the emotions that come with it. So it's like when I'm like having, when I'm visiting you guys, it's like, okay, Dad's progressed a lot this time. Like, I can kind of like allow those feelings to be there and kind of honor those feelings and be like, yeah, this isn't great. I don't want to watch my dad decrease in mobility. That's not fun. It's not fun when like we go to a store and you're off and you're like doing that weird shuffle and then you almost look like you're going to tilt forward.
Yeah.
And I have those moments where I'm like, Dad's going to fall and I can't pick him up. Like, I can't pick up Dad. Like, those are always really scary moments. But then you don't fall, and I'm like, oh, thank God. And then it's 5 minutes later, and you almost fall again. I'm like, why am I always shocked? Like, why am I surprised? But, like, just having those moments of, like, being like, okay, I can honor these moments, respect that these emotions are here, that this is hard, this isn't fun, but then not letting that ruin everything. Because it's like, well, you know what? Dad's not in a wheelchair yet. Dad's not in a walker yet. Like, it's kind of like he's still fine and mobile, which is really cool. Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, I think you're bringing up a lot of good points, but one of the things that makes me think about is all of the things that we've found that actually help deal with the symptoms.
Yeah, that's true. Like the red lights, the different medications, the changing of sugar, drinking your coffee cold now.
Yeah.
Decaf coffee cold. That wasn't going to be a thing that I thought would be a thing when we were growing up. That's helpful. And even the shoes. Like, man, I saw those shoes, like the Kazeki shoes or whatever, like on a YouTuber that I watched that reviewed them. He doesn't even have like any illnesses or anything. He's just like some like dumb YouTuber that I watch. And, like, I remember seeing those, like, a year ago or something. I was like, Dad's got to get those shoes. They're amazing.
They are amazing.
Now you have them, and they're amazing. All because I just watched some, like, YouTuber who reviews random Instagram products. Like, so funny. Like, yeah, there are really great things. Like, I mean, like, the YouTube and, like, I mean, like, even the shop. Like, one day I'm going to get to, like, really be a caregiver. Like, and I can really mean this hat. Like, that stuff is awesome. Like...
Yeah.
It's been so cool, like, just, like, seeing the growth and seeing, like, the community that's been, like, coming around, like, with it. Like, it's just awesome. Like, I just love it. Like, I think, like, you can talk about all the bad things that happen with chronic illnesses, but then there's still, like, I still feel like the good outweighs the bad.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you join a club you never really want to be a part of.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like, I just think it's really cool.
Yeah, like, when I see how many people watch a video, how many people comment on the video, just that community that's developed around Zach saying, Dad, have a Parkinson's test.
Yeah.
Like, this was all Zach's idea.
He really, really pushed that. Like, I remember, like, when he was, like, telling you to do the YouTube channel, like, he, like, came to me and had a discussion about it. He's like, Dad just won't listen to me. He's like, this is a great idea. And I told him that you should do it, and he's just not doing it. And now you've done it, and, like, it's, like, a great memory to have and to honor Zach in that perspective. Like, with, like, the store, with the channel, with all, like, the deals, like, and the partnerships now that, like, are amazing. Yeah, I think it comes back to, like, that thing that we talked about in, like, the other episode where we were talking about, like, the family and the friends and, like, the people who step up and want to do it are, like, the people that show that they care the most. And, like, I mean, you wouldn't have this community without that.
No. And, yeah, that just shows you how much Zach cared about not only me, but everybody. Like, he wanted everyone to be positively impacted by the Parkinson's.
Yeah. I think it's cool.
I do, too. So, what do you feel that your role is going to be in the future now that, you know, I've got Parkinson's, Mom's got endometriosis?
Yeah. Gonna be the caregiver role. Check out the store. That's actually really great. It's gonna be caregiver. I already know that. It's one of the things that I don't like about Parkinson's. It's like I know exactly where my life is gonna end up. It's gonna end up in the Okanagan. It's gonna end up taking care of you and Mom, which I'm happily gonna do. I'm happy to do it. It's why I go to the doctor's appointments. It's why I know the pills and the stuff and everything for it. But it's something that I feel like it's taken away from my life. Yeah, it's something that the Parkinson's has taken from my life that I feel it's negatively impacted, because it's not like I can just think I can move to Scotland one day, let's say. Like, say if I wanted to move to Scotland, I can't do that. I know exactly where my life is going to end up. I don't know it. time. It could be in 5 years. It could be in 10 years. It could be in 20 years. But my life will end up in the caregiver role, which is something I've known since he got diagnosed, because it's hard. Like when Zach was still alive, we had a lot of really hard conversations about that and what our roles would be, how that would be affected, how we could live our lives, while also knowing in the back of our brain, like, well, don't make too many roots planted in one spot, because they're going to need to uplift them when the time comes. And it's a hard pill to swallow, knowing that, like, when I do potentially meet someone someday, being like, hey, your life will end up in the Okanagan helping me be a caregiver. Is that something you can do? And I know that's a really big fear of mine as well, that like someone won't be able to do that with me. Like my auntie is great. She'll be with me all the time with that. But it's a hard thing to deal with. It's a sad thing to deal with. It's a form of grief in itself, that you're grieving the life that you're going to have, the life that you will have, and grieving the lives that you won't have. It's hard. Speculation for the future is hard. It's hard to see like where I'm going and what I'm doing and how that's going to affect you and Mom. That, because I think even though I have a chronic illness, I think mine's probably the easiest to live with. I think diabetes, it's manageable. It's easier to live with. It's not fun. No illness is fun, but it's manageable. So yeah, it's like, how do I take care of 3 illnesses at one time? That's a lot for one person. And I know a lot of people, like, there's a lot of support, like there's a lot of home nurses and everything like that, but like I'll be the one making all the calls and everything and stuff, and that's hard.
Yeah, definitely.
But also, I mean, the kids are supposed to take care of the parents when they're older. Unfortunately, I just had it 6 years early in life than what it is. But yeah, I also think that's brought a lot of wisdom, a lot of courage, a lot of perseverance to overcome stuff with that. And I know I'll do it happily. Like, I'm happy to do it. So, yeah.
I know we're getting to the end of this interview. I can feel it. But is there anything else you wanted to talk about? Anything else that's on your heart?
I think just like the immense sadness that comes with it. When we talked about like the speculation of the future and like how like my life is already decided for me, like the immense sadness and a lot of anger and resentment that comes up. Not towards like you and Mom. The resentment isn't towards that. But like the resentment of like just like the life that I'm living. And like the resentment that comes with like the Parkinson's and comes with the endometriosis and comes with the diabetes. Because it's like, I don't know how to like put it into words. But it's just like a form of anger that you're just like mad at the universe and just mad at your situation and mad. That's like, oh, why do I have to be the one to do this? Why do I have to be the one that takes care of my parents? Which is like, yeah, kids are supposed to take care of parents, but it's like that role's reversed, where it's like the kid is taking care of the parent way too early in life. And I know like that's always been a thing that we have feared as a family, that like the roles would be reversed way too quickly. And it did. It reversed really fast.
Yeah. Hey, I'm on board with that.
Yeah, it reversed really fast, way too soon. Like, even like when Zach and I were kids, like we would be making like breakfast for Mom in bed when she was really sore. Like, Zach would wait up for hours for you to come home. And like, even when like you got diagnosed, like it was just like instant for Zach and I. It's okay, we're caregivers now. Like, we were caregivers for Mom, now we're caregivers for you. Like, we're going to learn all your pill names. We're going to know exactly when you're needed. We're going to know times and like everything. Like, it was just so instant. And that brings up a lot of anger and resentment of like, well, how could this happen? Like, how could the universe do this to me when this isn't a burden I want to carry? And burden's maybe the wrong word. Just the situation you have to carry for it. Like, I've spent a lot of time like... I've spent like a lot of time just like crying over it, because it's just like I can't make certain plans, I can't make certain decisions, I can't go do certain things that I want to do, because I know that it's going to end up caring for Mom and Dad, which is really hard to just continue to watch them decrease physically and mentally. It's extremely difficult. It's an extreme form of grief, and unfortunately now my brother's passed and I have to do that alone, and that's also another form of grief that comes up when it was supposed to be me and him doing it together, and now it's just me. So yeah, it's a large form of grief, and that you just have to take. And I commend a lot of caregivers who do it. It's not easy. I commend a lot of caregivers like my mom, who has her own illness and takes care of my dad and also takes care of me. I'm really glad my diabetes, I have a thing called Dexcom. It's like reads all my blood sugars and gets sent to my mom via Bluetooth, and she'll watch that when I'm having a bad diabetes day, so I commend her a lot for that. Like, that takes a lot of mental capacity. Yeah, I think about that, and yeah, I'm also glad that there's also the caregiver community too. So yeah, those are kind of my final thoughts.
Okay. At this point, I can only say thank you for doing this, Felicia. Thank you for being on the channel and sharing your heart so deeply with everybody out there.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. I'm happy to do it.
I'm extremely grateful, and you've really taught me a lot today and helped me understand you a lot better, and especially just through those early days of getting diabetes, I've learned so much about you, and just hearing your fears and the experiences in the helicopter and at the hospital. You know, it was very different for me just because I came at it from a different perspective.
Yeah.
Just because of that different perspective.
No, I'm happy to do it.
Okay, well, thank you everybody out there, and if you feel free to leave a comment below and ask questions. If you have questions for Felicia, I will relay them to her. And
yes, happy to answer any questions.
Yeah. Thank you for watching and supporting our channel and for being a part of our lives. It is a great honor to share with so many out there going through the same journey. And let's continue to take this journey together, and we'll see you on the next one.
Bye.
Bye. Oh, and as I promised, I will have a link at the end somewhere around here.
Oh, yeah.
That you can go back and watch the first part of this interview. Thank you very much. Have a good day. Goodbye.
Bye.